J.J. Starling absent from Mike Bray's starting lineup. Came up with an upset stomach this morning. They'll bring him off the bench. Van Allen Lubin moves into the starting lineup. And for the men of Josh Pastner, Georgia Tech will go with Lance Terry, Kyle Sturdivant, Debo Coleman, Javon Franklin, and Miles Kelly. Ready for basketball at McCamish. And a thrill to have you with us in a veteran officiating crew. Lee Cassell, Doug Sermons, and Brian O'Connell to officiate. And the home team trying to snap that 9-game losing streak has the game's first possession. Quick move inside and some good defense by Lubin.
And good defense by Lubin. We spoke earlier. Lubin's one of those guys who's going to allow them to stay big. Through Notre Dame, they want to be able to have some inside presence on both ends of the floor.
The Fighting Irish trying to break a streak of their own tonight. They have lost every road game they've played. Nice high-low, and Lubin gets the lay-in.
How about Lubin on one end of the floor? Solid defense, and they give him a touch. That's one of the things, again, for Notre Dame. If they can establish that inside play, that'll open up that 3-ball for them.
Georgia Tech with it. Sturdivant from 16 connects. Kyle Sturdivant averaging 7 a game, had 13 at NC State. In and out for Goodwin. Overall, Notre Dame 10 wins, 13 losses, 2-10 in the conference. Loose ball. Have to retrieve it, Miles Kelly. Part of this very talented sophomore class. And this one banked off and good.
Nice runner by Miles Kelly. And again, Georgia Tech's best three-point shooter. And trying to force him off that three-point line. Nice runner for him. Get to the basket.
4-2 Yellow Jackets. Here's Hammond. Moves it back. Marcus connects.
Yeah, Hammond's one of those guys, again, that can go get his own shot. Mike Brey talked about his team that traditionally wants to knock down the 3, but Georgia Tech has switched and played them man-to-man.
Top of the key for Kelly. Talked about Hammond, Brian. He's been in double figures 4 of his last 6 games. Stepping out of bounds on the catch was Laszewski. Mike Brey rounding up his 23rd season as the head coach of the Irish, but he's been coming to Atlanta a lot longer than that. Longtime Duke assistant coach. He was scheming that Duke defense to stop Brian Oliver.
Well, you know, there were many times he did a really good job back in the day.
Oh, nice block. Good hands by Notre Dame, and that's Cormac Ryan. Hammond out of the corner. And a whistle. This foul's going to go against the Irish. Push on the inside against Lubin. Mike Brey has been known on his visits to Atlanta to frequent the varsity.
Oh, my, he's a better guy than I am because, again, I can't take that. I mean, once I was in college, I was able to do it. I don't know if my digestive system would handle that right now.
Dane Goodwin with the personal foul. Franklin at the high post. The rebound belongs to Hammond.
And that's one of the things we talked with Josh Pastner is that they've had great opportunities. You see Hammond get downhill, could come up with that. Georgia Tech wants to try to play with pace because if they can get up and get these wide open shots, but they got to get them to go, Bob.
That has been a season-long nemesis for these Yellow Jackets. The ability to consistently put the ball in a hole. Laszewski foul going up.
We highlighted Laszewski early. Notre Dame will pick their points with how they're going to play him. With a smaller guy, they'll post him up. If they got a big, they'll take him out of the perimeter.
Let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by your local Ford dealer.
Well, for both teams, for Notre Dame, talk about the points in the paint. they're number 3 in the conference at three-point shooting. Georgia Tech is going to switch out of play man. It's big for them to establish that inside game. And for Georgia Tech, said it early, they've got to play with pace. This is a team that traditionally has a problem with scoring. When they can get some opportunities in transition, get some early baskets, that'll help a lot.
Laszewski puts in the first free throw of 2. Changes Matt Zona coming in now for the Irish, the 6'9" junior. Hammond goes out. Lubin goes out. And there is another sub coming in, Trey Warts. Played a key role in that win over Georgia Tech at South Bend. Second shot good. Nate was also at the line in overtime. Knocked down a couple of free throws that helped cement that win for the Irish against these Jackets. This is a permanent rival for Georgia Tech. They play home and away each season. Clemson is the other. Franklin. Little show and go. Gets rid of it. Coleman for 3.
Great setup by Franklin. That's one of the things that he gives Josh Pastner as a big ability to be able to penetrate that last time. Was able to force Notre Dame to have to converge and got Debo Coleman a wide open 3.
Zona sets the screen now. Goes to the basket. They try to lob it over the top, but the Jackets break it up, and it ends up in Ryan's hands. In and out. Kyle Sturvither the other way for Georgia Tech. To the corner, and Coleman. Jump stop in the paint. He's fouled. Personal foul on Matt Zona. Bob Rathman, Brian Oliver with you. We talked a lot about these close games, and it just seems like, Brian, every time Notre Dame comes to this arena, you are due for a barn burner. And
we've seen that, especially the last 2 out of 3, with both of them going into the overtime. Thought it interesting in that last matchup in South Bend. Georgia Tech had the game in hand with less than 2 minutes to go, up 7, but Notre Dame was able to come back and force it to overtime, eventually winning in OT.
This is the 9th ACC game between Notre Dame and Georgia Tech here in Atlanta. All 6, or excuse me, all 9 have been decided by 6 points or fewer. 7-6 is our score in this one. Good one. Brings it up top. J.J. Starling is checked in for Notre Dame. Mike Bray is going to play it by ear to see how he was feeling. Trying to drive to the basket here at the end of the clock, and I'd say he looks pretty good.
Well, you see, Starling is one of those guys that can get to the cup and finish with either hand. And again, for Mike Bray, that's got to be a positive sign. When we talked with him early, didn't know how much he was going to get out of tonight.
J.J. Starling has shot a very efficient 51% from the floor in the last 3 games. Little ball fake, cut off on the drive is Coleman. And an offensive foul called on Georgia Tech.
Last time Franklin down there trying to get the ball, and the Georgia Tech probably want to see their spacing. You see Josh Pastner come in with Davon Smith and Moore.
Jalen Moore also coming in, Rodney Howard. Josh went with the iron 5 in the second half at NC State.
And I thought it was interesting when I asked him why did he make a sub. He said that he thought that because his team was really in a nice little groove offensively, didn't want to take them out because, you know, the guys he had in that first half wasn't really giving them the point production that they needed.
Coaches aren't superstitious, Brian. They just don't want to take chances.
It seemed like he was riding that wave.
Nice poke away and a great steal. Georgia Tech's got big numbers, and Smith lays it home.
Davon Smith did not waste any time bringing energy here, coming up with that steal in the finish. And again, that's one of the things that this Georgia Tech team needs, Bob, is creating opportunities to score, because sometimes they'll have those lulls where they can't score in half court.
Laszewski had it blocked. A great rejection by Rodney Howard. Now to Smith. And that is such a great point you make, Brian, particularly against Notre Dame, a very low turnover team. Terry turns and hits.
Bob, that's the guy for me that needs to get going for Georgia Tech. Lance Terry is showing you that he can give you a solid 15 to 20 points a night. But they need to get him going. That last game against North Carolina State, he struggled. They need to get him going.
That was his first game back after a 4-game absence due to a hamstring injury. Lance Terry rejoining the lineup in Raleigh over the weekend. Foul on Nate Laszewski will be his first of the game.
And you see Laszewski down there, Terry doing a pretty good job, pulls the chair from underneath him. And again, what Georgia Tech is going to do with this man-to-man, they're going to basically switch 1 through 5 with that lineup. And then Notre Dame has to do a good job of taking advantage of the mismatches.
Avon Smith, local product who came home to play at Georgia Tech after starting at Mississippi State. 7 minutes gone by in the first half. Offensive foul on Jalon Moore.
Good defense by Laszewski, being able to move his feet. And again, a lot of times you see big man being able to get there, and then you see a little bit of a chicken wing by Moore. Laszewski doing a good job of sliding. You see Moore comes out, Sturtevant back in.
11-8 Jackets. Notre Dame looking for some offense. Just one basket in the last 5 minutes of playing time. Goodwin feeds it on the wing. Gets it back. Takes the three. And that's going to drop in. First bucket tonight for Dane Goodwin. Averages just under 12 a game.
And Goodwin recognized that he had Rodney Howard on him. And knocked it out. And you see Lance Terry with another bucket. Again, for a guy that's struggling, Bob, a lot of times to be able to get an easy bucket, it's amazing how the three ball comes a lot easier.
That 10-point effort in Raleigh for Lance Terry, his 7th game scoring in double figures. Laszewski hikes up the three. Little long. Run out rebound for Smith. Smith energizing this Georgia Tech unit on the floor right now. Terry driving to the basket.
You see Lance Terry as of late scoring the last 5, going on his own personal run. You Josh Passer, you have to be excited about the production, and you see how Georgia Tech's getting those points, getting stops and getting into early offense.
16-11 Jackets. Moving in, Lubin.
Nice move by Lubin again. Notre Dame doing a good job of recognizing when they get a switch, a big on little, they make that big man go right down, and they punish them for switching and putting a guard on the big.
Jackets have hit their last 4 shots. Terry, does he make it 5? No. Rebound, J.J. Starling.
A mutual friend of ours would call that a heat check.
Yeah, who would that be? This one out of bounds. And we've got a timeout. 11:19 to play in the opening half. Lance Terry getting it done. 7 of Tech's 16.
He has come out and he has started out very aggressive for this Yellow Jacket team. 16 points for the Yellow Jackets. He's already got 7 of them.
And the Irish must be thinking, wait a minute, is this the same Lance Terry we saw in South Bend? He had only 4 in that game and went 1 for 9.
Well, and again, I like the fact that he has come out and been aggressive. Georgia Tech, when they're able to get out in some type of transition, early offense, that gives them not have to match up against that set off defense for Notre Dame.
Last foul charge to Davon Smith. Van Allen Lubin, who got the start, did not play against the Deacons over the weekend at South Bend. Had a left ankle injury. In fact, he's missed the last 3 until tonight. Jackets have hit 5 out of the last 6, but we must say, for Georgia Tech, this is not atypical. They will have good stretches in games, but what makes it so crazy for Josh Pastner is that when the streak of good shooting ends, they go ice cold.
And they've had multiple games like that where they have played very well. They played like one of the better teams in the league, and they just can't finish. Again, against North Carolina State, that was a game that they were winning. You know, I did a game here against Syracuse. You see nice penetration and get the ball over to Terry. But Georgia Tech will have those moments where they will go ice cold.
A rhythm bounce and a miss from the wing by Sturtevant. Clearing is Marcus Hammond.
If I'm Mike Brady, with 2 bigs on the floor, Georgia Tech's got 4 guards. I try to take advantage of the post-ups and pound that ball inside. You've got Lubin being played by one of the guards. I'd pound that ball inside and give him a touch.
Turnaround for Lubin. He's been effective.
Well, and here's the thing is that when you've got a guard playing against him, he's a big, strong body. That's going to force Georgia Tech to make the decision if they're going to double or not, and that will open up the 3-ball. We talked about Notre Dame being top 3 in the league as far as 3-point percentage.
Pass inside. Tough luck there for the Jackets. Notre Dame on the run out.
That's a shot that Rodney Howard's got to make.
Ryan. Rebound to Kelly. Stone Mountain, Georgia product. Back to the basket for Howard. Smith backs it out. Terry moves in, nice pass, reverse is good. What a tough shot for Miles Kelly.
Great penetration by Terry, better finish by Miles Kelly. Georgia Tech doing a good job of being able to break down Notre Dame. Again, not to be redundant, I would go back into the big because, again, Georgia Tech's got to make that decision how they're going to play those bigs in the guard.
And they've got Sturdivant on Lubin in the post. Now he comes back up top, but I thought initially down the floor they had him.
And you see the penetration by Ryan. You got to hunt that mismatch because you know that you've got 4 guards playing against basically 2 bigs.
Catch and shoot. A little long for Sturdivant. Back up top to Smith. He'll drive and get fouled. Davon Smith's energy been a big plus for Georgia Tech off the bench.
Yeah, the fact that his energy and how he's come out and he's been aggressive. Josh Pastner is looking for some high energy. He's definitely come off that bench and provided in the first half.
Key second foul on Van Allen Lubin. Free throws for Davon Smith. His third point. Now a message from Coyote Tractor.
In my experience, if you work the land, you got to be a jack of all trades. You got to have a little bit of optimism and a whole lot of get-go.
Smith has struggled at that line this year. Just 44%, splits the pair, but the ball out of bounds to Georgia Tech. 9:07 first half, 19-15 in favor of the Jackets. Georgia Tech mired in this 9-game losing streak, the longest streak since they dropped 13 in a row in the 80-81 season. Smith. Oh, look at those hands.
I'm shooting that. Man, you could have seen it. I was ready to shoot that one. Hey,
what a great catch.
I'm a shooter, not a passer. I'm a shooter.
This one rolls out. Rebound to Hammond. Laszewski gives it up. Ryan back to Laszewski. Nice little give and go.
And that was great pass by Ryan because Laszewski faked to set that pick, and he immediately dove to the basket. Having a guard on him, then you're talking about a guy that's 6'9", 6'10". There's no way. You see Rodney Howard wide open.
And he goes in and misses, and then a block underneath.
Normally you don't see big guys wide open. He was like, my God, I'm wide open and they're going to guard me, and he makes that run. And then on the other end, watch that. It was actually a pick that got Laszewski wide open. You see Davon Smith couldn't really put up much resistance. And again, Notre Dame has something right there, Bob, with being able to take advantage of those big guys that are out there.
Rodney Howard to the stripe. First foul on Dane Goodwin. They switched the foul earlier from Goodwin to Lubin, so that's why Lubin has 2, and Howard now is at the line. He's been battling Achilles tendon and ankle injuries of late. Free throw no good.
I find it always funny for bigs that are always setting picks and passing the ball. Rodney Howard found himself wide open, and it was a shock for him that he was that wide open.
It's like a scoop and score for an offensive lineman. What is this thing? Missed them both, but Coleman's got it. Smith. Sturdivant around. Here is Terry putting it up and off. Look at the energy by Smith. Right back up and in.
Talk about the energy. Davon Smith goes in, and again, with the lineup that Notre Dame has, you've got Laszewski as your lone big out there. Smith is one of those guys that he goes way up high, goes and gets that rebound for the putback.
And he was terrific in South Bend. Had 16 and 10 and added 7 assists. 21-17, and throwing one a big 3 is Hammond.
And Hammond realized that he had Howard on them. Most of the time, bigs don't want to guard a guard out there. And he realized that all he had to do was create a little space to knock down that 3.
21-20. Rodney Howard. Davon Smith operates. Shot clock down to 11, and Smith nails a 3.
Nice shot by Smith, and you thought Hurst did a good job of guarding and contested that shot. Got a little bit of a distance. And again, Georgia Tech opening up this lead to 4.
Goodwin gives it back to Ryan. Ryan moves through, bounce to the corner, kick to the bounds. Davon Smith, the junior guard from Loganville, making an impact on the fly to take on Wake Forest. Big winner over Carolina earlier in the week. That's Saturday. Then a couple of home games with Virginia Tech, a non-conference affair with Florida Tech before finishing out with 3 out of 4 on the road. How about the play of Davon Smith, Brian Oliver?
And when he talked about the fact that since he came in, he's provided that sense of energy. Come off the bench, got a steal for a bucket, and since then, Bob, he has been that guy for Georgia Tech that has come in and delivered. Watch how high he goes up amongst the trees down there and gets that putback. For Georgia Tech, he has come in and given them instant offense. And again, he said, if you're going to back up off me, you know what, I'm feeling him. I'll knock down that 3, allowing Georgia Tech to extend that lead to 4.
Davon Smith has scored 6. In fact, they're the last 6 Georgia Tech points. 15 on the Notre Dame shot clock. Long entry, and there's Smith up high to knock it away, but Laszewski has it. Ryan will drive and lay it in.
Nice move by Ryan.
And I think we have a Laszewski may be bleeding. And that's why they stopped the game.
You see, Ryan realized he had Franklin and was able to sell that with a pump fake. Gets right to the basket. Nice finish.
Lubin comes in. Laszewski to the bench. They'll attend to that cut with 6:52 to go.
Bob, I like what they've been able with Notre Dame's gotten out of Lubin. He's given them an opportunity,
yes,
a guy that can guard the perimeter, and he does a good job of sealing those guys, and then they give him a touch. They've gotten good production out of him offensively.
Kyle Sturdivant recaptures the dribble, zips it across to Coleman. Nothing happening in the paint. He's got to get out of there, but throws it into the backcourt, and that's a violation.
You see Devo Coleman over-penetrating right there. For me, Georgia Tech's got to do a better job with their spacing. They seem too compacted right there in that lane there. Notre Dame has done a good job of being able to stay with the dribble. You got to spread them out, especially with this lineup. You got guys that can go get your own shot in Smith and also Terry.
That is the 4th Georgia Tech turnover. 24-22. Good one.
And to be honest with you, that's probably Notre Dame's best post guy, Dane Goodwin. They will put him in the post. He does a good job of being able to take smaller guards down there, and he does an amazing job of being able to get his shot off.
Smith cross court to Terry. Ran out of runway, but a blocking foul on Notre Dame. Foul is called on Zona. Matt's second. Out of bounds underneath. Stop the bleeding, so Laszewski comes back in. Zona exits. Trey Wirtz comes in, replacing Marcus Hammond.
You look at the lineup for Georgia Tech and who they have out there. They've got guys that can put the ball on the deck and go get a shot.
Oh, underneath Terry. Nice fake. Good block from behind by Lubin.
Great recovery by Lubin. What looked to be an easy basket for Terry.
Ryan out front to Wirtz. Inside, it's an offensive foul.
You see, Mike Gray wasn't happy with that one. I thought Terry did a good job of selling it.
Boy, that's 3 fouls on Lubin.
And you see right there, get the ball to the big guy, Terry said, and then basically when Lubin went to, and a lot of times those big guys, they try to punish us guards down there, Bob, and he said, you know, you're too small, get them out of here. Terry did a good job of selling it on the extension.
Tied at 24, but a key man for the Irish has to sit with 3 personal fouls. J.J. Starling heads to the scorer's table. He'll check in a moment. Franklin. Smith rises up. Air ball. Great save, but into the hands of Goodwin. On the break, here's Wirtz. Nice push ahead to Ryan. Open 3. Bottoms.
Great transition bucket. And you see Notre Dame, when they get that ball out in transition, the ball does not waste any time getting to open shooter. You saw Wirtz realizing he had Cormac Ryan wide open, uncontested 3.
194th career 3 for Cormac Ryan. Irish by 3. 7-0 run for Notre Dame. Bounce inside, outside Sturdivant. Loses the handle. Shot clock down to 4. Smith for 3. Rebound, good one.
Good defensive possession by Notre Dame. Again, for Georgia Tech, seems like after a couple of passes, their offense moved closer inside that three-point line, and they're easier to guard that way.
Works. Up high to get the rebound, Jalon Moore. Sturdivant. Top side 3 is good.
And that three-point was set up by getting that early offense, and you see Notre Dame trying to get back. Javon Smith realized he had Sturdivant wide open. He was able to step into that 3 and knock it down.
Kyle had his season high 18 at Notre Dame. Under 4 to play, first half. Ryan, shot clock draining. Ryan going to work. Puts it up and off. Rebound Smith. Sturdivant gives it up in the wing. They work into the corner. And the 3-ball for Lance Terry.
Great ball movement by Georgia Tech. Anytime that you can shift the defense like they did, you see Goodwin going right at Terry.
Lance mounts up his first.
Anytime you see great ball movement, Lance Terry says, I'm wide open, baby. 3-ball corner pocket.
With Georgia Tech leading 30-27. Time for tonight's CPI Security, protecting the paint.
Well, when you realize that Georgia Tech and Notre Dame, you see those bigs down there are basically punishing those smaller guards, but Georgia Tech doing a good job of manning up down there, not giving any room to the bigs from Notre Dame. Josh Paz has got to be happy so far in this first half of how his Yellow Jackets have come out and performed.
Well, making baskets will make him a happy man.
Absolutely.
And Lance Terry's been terrific. Smith off the bench. Very good performances for a Jacket team that sometimes goes just completely dry on the offensive end. Free throws coming for Dane Goodwin. He was huge in that game against the Jackets at Notre Dame. Had 19 points, 12 rebounds. Toyota halftime report coming your way with first half highlights. We'll focus in on Coach Bray on our Toyota driven features and the updates on the ACC scoreboard. 2 free throws for Goodwin.
We've talked about how the series between Notre Dame and Georgia Tech has been close, and you see it's been back and forth. Right now, Yellow Jackets are up by 1. I don't think any team has gotten this lead up more than 5.
Speaking of Coach Bray, so great to see him tonight. Spend some time before the ball game. What a magnificent job he did for the Irish. Of course, the all-time winningest coach at Notre Dame over 23 years. 13 NCAA tournaments. Smith, 4 on the clock. Moore lets it fly. Trying to get that mid-ranger to go, but there's Smith again. Can't believe he missed it. And Franklin foul going up.
Smith, no, he wishes he had that little bunny right there. Did a good job with offensive rebound. And you see the shot by Moore. No one puts a body on Smith. He comes in. And then by that, I think everyone was expecting to go in. Franklin comes up, gets that offensive foul, draws that foul to go to basket 2.
Marcus Hammond committed the foul for Notre Dame. Franklin, 73% foul shooter, averaging 7.7 points and just under 6 rebounds a game. Grad transfer from South Alabama. He is 4th in the ACC with 1.6 blocks. And he, as you mentioned earlier, Brian, really stuffed the stat sheet in Raleigh over the weekend. Had 5 blocks in that game against the Pack.
And he's an explosive big that can put the ball on the floor and attack the rim. You see Georgia Tech extending this man-to-man. Typically against three-point shooting teams, they'll go into a zone, but I thought it interesting Josh Pastner thought that they could do a better job of switching. How about Tavon Smith goes up high?
Takes it right down the middle, sets up the shooter out the wing, and the three ball by Sturdivant, his second of the night.
Bob, you had Nate Laszewski, who literally had him. He had him on the front side of him. All he had to do was throw it up high, and Davon Smith goes, and there's no pass that's safe around him.
6 threes for the Jackets. Corner for Starling. Tapped out to Ryan. Coming up on the 2-minute mark of the first half. Ryan lets it go. Short this time. Moore the rebound for Georgia Tech. Jackets lead it by 5. Franklin. Reposts. Hooks. Hits.
Nice move by Franklin. I thought the first 2 times he tried to go, he had the middle. He was dead set on trying to go to baseline, but realized that he can get that ball and jump up over Laszewski with that left shoulder.
7-point lead now for Georgia Tech. Jackets on a 6-0 run. Hammond. Big 3 for Notre Dame.
Nice shot by Hammond. And Notre Dame really is playing 5 out with Laszewski. Playing like that, you've got a big out there taking advantage of knocking down that 3.
Franklin. Secured by Goodwin. Starling. Loose ball picked up by Goodwin. Laszewski out of the corner, and that's good for 3.
And that's where they're at their dangerous, at their best. When they can move that ball, you see Josh Pastner calling a timeout.
And just like that, back-to-back threes bring the Irish within 1, 36-35.
Get the ball over to Laszewski wide open. We talked about him in the highlight. His ability to make shots. He is more comfortable knocking down that 3s probably than posting up.
Time for tonight's Fresh Market. Discover the best. This guy has been better than all the rest at Notre Dame. 482 wins in 23 seasons with the Irish. 581 overall as a collegiate head coach. He was talking about his days at Delaware when he got his first head coaching job after leaving the Duke bench as an assistant coach. He said that his locker mate for the team at Delaware was the team mascot. He would come in and dress with the men's basketball. He'd take the head off and say, boy, it's hot out there, coach. He doesn't have to worry about that at South Bend.
I don't think he's going to worry about that, but as amazing as his resume is, he's equally a great guy. I mean, like you say, I mean, I go back to my days at Georgia Tech when he was at Duke. Just one of the all-time greats. See Notre Dame coming out with a 2-3 zone. If you're Georgia Tech, you got to get inside those gaps. You do not want to settle for a 3. You want to do a little inside out.
Short block for Sturdivant. Smith. Tough pass, gets it in. Hook shot, good by Franklin.
I like the fact that Davon Smith didn't force that shot. He didn't have a great balance right there. Opted to get it into Franklin. And Franklin's really shown that if he gets the ball down low with his leaping ability, he can shoot over most bigs in the league.
Shot clock is off. We're down to 5 seconds. Marcus Hammond for 3. Rebound follow is good by Laszewski, and that's the half. Nate ends up with 9 points in the first 20 minutes. And what do you know? We got a 1-point game between Notre Dame and Georgia Tech.
Where you see again, shot goes up. No one puts a body on Laszewski. Wide open. Is able to get it up right before the buzzer. We've got a good one that gets some offensive fouls. They have not been able to stop them. And for Georgia Tech, it seems like when they can spread Notre Dame out and get downhill, they've been most successful. And that opens up the 3-ball for them. I've always liked the first 5 minutes of that second half to see who comes out with what type of energy.
And you know Georgia Tech fans everywhere are looking at this second half, holding their breath, saying, please, can we still make shots? They force a turnover here in the first possession of the second half. Sturdivant right down Peachtree, but kicks it out on the wing. Coleman. And this one rebounded high in the air by Lubin, back after picking up his third foul at the 5:43 mark of the first half.
I applaud the play by Sturdivant, but you get that far in the paint, you got to finish that and take your luck and go towards the basket. It was a good basketball play to get Coleman. As you see Lubin right down there posting up again. He is that guy that they give him the ball because Georgia Tech has not been able to stop him down low.
First foul on Miles Kelly. And Mike Bray and the Irish went right over the top. And they didn't waste any time.
And that's what's going to happen is that you get the ball inside, you force Georgia Tech to make a decision. If they send another guy, when they do that, then that's when you're going to get those wide open uncontested threes.
Shot clock at 10. Ryan puts it up with 4 on the clock. Franklin rebounds. From the wing, Coleman trying to adjust the sight, short with one, long with the next. 38-37 it remains.
And again, Georgia Tech has done a good job of knocking down 6 threes, but I think that when you get in transition, you got to try to get downhill, get to the basket. You do not want to settle for a three.
And to your point, take advantage of what you have in the matchup.
And that's 2 times that you saw them get inside the paint.
Hammond with 4 on the shot clock. Ryan gives it up. A ball fake and a fire. In and out. Right at the buzzer for Dane Goodwin.
And this is one of the things that Notre Dame misses, Bob, is a guy that can go down and break down the defense and get to the bucket. You saw that last possession. Georgia Tech really was able to keep them outside the 3-point line.
Franklin gives it across. Miles Kelly at the top. Working on Ryan. And this one's fumbled away by Franklin.
And again, Georgia Tech has to do a better job. You saw too many guys down there in the paint. And then by that time that Kelly got it, he couldn't really do anything with it. And then basically ended up for a turnover.
Goodwin had it stripped. This was the change agent for Georgia Tech in the first half, Davon Smith. He comes back early.
Josh Pastner realizing is that their offense has kind of started out the second half sputtering. And Smith is that guy.
Lubin is fouled. I think Lance Terry got him on the arm.
And here's the thing that you got to know if you're Lance Terry. Lubin is not a great shooter. You don't want to foul him right there. You want to take your chance, especially outside of the paint.
Third foul on Lance. And Van Allen Lubin heads to the foul line. 6 in the first half. This 6'8" freshman, Coach Bray said his focus is more like a junior or a senior. And you've seen that with his post play tonight. Stay tuned for the fast break presented by your local Ford dealer. Lubin delivers his 7th point, a 64% foul shooter. This one taken down by Franklin. Tied at 38.
See Notre Dame in this zone.
Turnaround for Sturdivant.
And I like putting Sturdivant right there at the free throw line. A lot of times you'll have a big that may not be willing to shoot that shot. Anytime you can get inside that free throw line, that's breaking down that defense and gives you an opportunity to either shoot it or even make a run at the rim.
First Georgia Tech points of the second half. Hammond right in front of the Notre Dame bench. 10 on the shot clock. I don't recall Notre Dame getting into short clock situations this often in the first half, but they go right in to Lubin.
And I thought that was a great recognition. We keep talking about when Georgia Tech switches 1 through 5, Lubin's going to find himself with a guard. And Ryan realized that he had him. You get him on the top side, and no one's on that weak side to help him making that basket.
Coleman for 3.
Bob, here's one of the things about Debo Coleman. He's going to give himself a chance. You saw earlier in the second half, missed 2 threes. He's going to keep shooting because he believes that the third one's going in.
Ryan, boy, a wrestling match inside. And Sturdivant called for the foul as he was wrestling with Laszewski.
Again, on that last play, watch the ball movement for Notre Dame. Realize they got Davon Smith on movement. Throw their weak side was a little late, and I feel like that's one of the things that you see, that wide open Dan Godwin open for three. Georgia Tech fell asleep on their coverage.
Goodwin with his second three tonight. He had time to check the wind and everything.
Absolutely. And there's a missed assignment. You saw Lance Terry late on that one. Josh Pastner can't be too happy with that.
Franklin.
Nice move by Franklin. A better challenge at the rim by Lubin. Been really impressed by Lubin, you know, on both sides of the floor. Defensively, he's giving them some rim protection. And we've already talked about his ability to get the ball down low.
Right, look at him post up. Big, strong, mid-post turnaround.
And here's the thing that I would like to see more teams do. When you got that mismatch, you keep feeding them into you, and you make the team make an adjustment. Georgia Tech has already shown that they're not going to send a second defender. I would keep giving the ball down and make them adjust.
45-43 Irish. Coleman. Laszewski with a block. Out of bounds. We have a timeout at McCamish Pavilion. Dane Goodwin left alone in the corner, and he makes Georgia Tech pay. Z-Max Micro Lubricant. Extend engine life. Increase fuel mileage. Available at AutoZone. On the campus of Georgia Tech, the Irish have taken a 2-point lead. Van Allen Lubin got the start tonight for J.J. Starling. Had to dance around some foul trouble in that first half, but boy, has he been impressive.
And we've talked about how he's impacted the game on both ends of the floor. Great defense, but I love the fact already 5 for 5 down low, and Notre Dame's done a good job of putting him in a position to get him rolling. And he has literally punished all the guards that have been guarding him. 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block. And a game night with a name like Van Allen Lubin sounds like an action hero.
Yes, it does. And he has been a man of action here tonight. It's a breather on the Irish bench. 15:27 to play. Notre Dame by 2. Georgia Tech's at 2 out of 6 here in the second half. Irish 3 of 5.
And as you see, they've got Davon Smith guarding Nate Laszewski. And then there have been times where they've tried to get the ball inside. And I still would try to get the ball inside because Georgia Tech has shown that they're not going to send another guy for a double.
Starling. Knocked out. Lance Terry brings it ahead for the Jackets. And on the spin.
And
turnover.
And this is where Georgia Tech has had problems in the past with those unforced turnovers. Terry realizing that he had a big on him and trying to do too much with the ball. If you don't have the initial, he thought that he could take Zona, but set up your offense. That last time was a turnover. You get nothing out of that possession.
6th Georgia Tech turn. Trey Wirtz struggling from long range of late. 2 for 16 over his last 5 on threes. Post up for Laszewski. They can get a flop warning out of that one. And they do. Doug Sermons. And the flop is going to be called on Lance Terry.
It seemed like a little, would they have called that a little earlier, though? It just seemed like it was a little late. And I agree. I don't think I disagree with the flop there. But the play continues, and then you see the block by Davon Smith, and Georgia Tech has the possession. I guess I'm a little confused on that one. Maybe that's why I'm sitting over here with you instead of out there with a whistle in my mouth.
Dane Goodwin to the free throw line here. It's going to be 4th foul on Lance Terry. Goodwin now with 11 points. Explaining it to Josh Pastner. Josh just trying to get his 2 cents in. It's a 6-0 Notre Dame run here. And the shot clock will be set to 28. It does not rob Georgia Tech of the possession. Just a stoppage to shoot the tee. Here is Sturdivant. Terry connects.
There's that off-ball action right there that forced Goodwin to step off and watch that cutter and allow Terry to get wide open. Again, he had a great first half. Interesting to see if that gets him going again.
Second Georgia Tech 3 of this second half, and their 8th of the night. Goodwin needs some help.
Good defense by Lance Terry being able to front good, Lubin and not allow him to get that post up.
Starling, no, back of the iron. And the ball recovered by Davon Smith. Jet to Franklin.
Nice pass by Davon Smith. Again, Bob, for a team like Georgia Tech that's trying to find offense, you want to get downhill in transition because you got a big in Franklin that can run and put the pressure on the bigs from Notre Dame.
13:30 to play. Georgia Tech has come back to lead by 2. Good one. And a foul inside on Laszewski. And Smith getting tangled up. And I think Davon is called for the foul, but he may have gotten the worst end of it.
It looked like he may have taken an elbow to the chops. Again, you've got to give a lot of credit to the guards from Georgia Tech and how they're fighting. You said last play, you see right there, trying to get around, and he took probably an inadvertent elbow. Looks like the refs may take a look at it.
Yes, they are. They're going to see if this is worthy of a foul call here, as Lee Cassell comes over to take a look at it. It's a 48-46 Georgia Tech lead with 13:20 left in our second half. Kind of looking over the shoulder of Lee and the officials here. That's Doug Sermons to the left. In the second half, Georgia Tech's 4 of 8. But again, we talked about it in the first half, Ryan. Smith has made a dramatic impact on the Tech offense.
And they struggled in the beginning of the second half. When he came in, that picked up the energy because, again, on both ends of the floor, you see him down there fighting with those bigs. And the time that Georgia Tech has been able to get in transition has been able to get them easy baskets. That last run to the rim by Franklin to allow the Yellow Jackets to go up 2.
See what we can see here.
You watch right there on this play. There.
Right there. Yep.
And it looks like the swing through with the left hand that may have caught Smith across the chops.
Notre Dame ball out of bounds. So a foul has been assessed to Laszewski. His second. Good one. Rebound Lubin. Right back at it.
Yeah, your man Lubin's been right there at the Johnny on the spot. With that offensive rebound for Georgia Tech, that's one of the guys you definitely have to turn around and put a body on.
48 all.
Georgia Tech, you got to penetrate and get those gaps.
How about that move? Lance Terry.
Lance Terry is definitely hunting his offense, realizing that you do a show a ball fake, get the big off the ground.
And an offensive foul on Notre Dame's Nate Laszewski. It's going to be his second foul.
And watch this penetration by Lance Terry, realizing that he got Laszewski up. Takes that big, gets him up on his tippy toes, and finishes right at the rim.
Looked like young Brian Oliver on that shot.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more. Well, young Brian Oliver. I had to bounce in. I thought you were saying Brian Oliver because they no bounce right now. You see Kyle Sturtevant right there at the free throw line. Georgia Tech has to try again, either penetrate.
To the top, and Kelly. Terry again. The board belongs to Trey Wirtz. Georgia Tech by 2. 12:05 left. Goodwin kicks it out. Wirtz missed the corner 3. Rebound Georgia Tech. On the handoff, Sturtevant.
Oh, Sturtevant missed. Davon Smith wide open, cutting to the basket.
Inside Franklin. And that's going to be number 4 on Lubin. Brings us to a timeout in Atlanta. Franklin with a big slam. And Georgia Tech leads it by a deuce. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. And by CPI Security. CPI Home Security that protects what matters most. Inside the Irish huddle. A 50-48 score in favor of Georgia Tech right now. The Jackets continue to make shots tonight. 46% for the game. And in the second half, the Jackets are 5 of 11. Notre Dame is 4 of 11 in the second half. And they have 1 3-pointer after intermission. A 2-point game right now. Josh Pastner and the Jackets trying to snap a 9-game losing streak here tonight. And it was such a seesaw affair in South Bend. Georgia Tech was down 9. Then they came roaring back. They led it 65-58 with 2.5 to go, only to see Notre Dame rally with a 7-0 run to force overtime. We've had that kind of a seesaw affair here again tonight.
And it seems like neither team has been able to extend their lead past 5 points. Again, 50-48, it seems like it's been a seesaw. Interesting to see that which team can actually go on a minor run here to extend their lead.
It's one of those matchups, Brian. Of course, a college game is 40 minutes. But it wouldn't matter if we played 20 minutes, 60 minutes. It's going to come down to the last possession.
And I was going to say the same thing because we've seen the entire game, Bob, where it's fluctuated by 3, 4 points, as you see right now. Interesting to see this 52-48 league. Is that the biggest lead of the game?
Trey Wirtz. Pressured by Franklin. Hammond. Hits the brakes. 10 to shoot for the Irish. And a foul. Ryan to the line.
Good penetration by Ryan. And to go back to Franklin, you see how he's able to switch out in that last play. You see Sturtevant with his hand got caught in the cookie jar. Maybe not so much on the challenge, but going on. And Cormac Ryan is one of those guys. I love him as a player because he's strong, can shoot the mid-range, and can put the ball on the floor. Probably one of those guys that can go get you a bucket when you really need it.
3-time team captain tells you all you need to know about his character. Free throw is good. Point number 6. And double figures in 4 straight coming into this one for Coach Bray. And nearing 200 career threes. He's up to 194 after that first half. 2 free throws good. Outstanding foul shooter at 80%. 52-50. Terry. Hammond. They work it around. Laszewski.
Missed opportunity there. I would not leave Nate Laszewski wide open.
Runner is good by Sturtevant.
And that's what Sturtevant is at his best. Probing right there inside the free throw line, that mid-range game. You saw it last time, the pick and roll between he and Franklin.
Irish a bit on the cold side. They've cashed in at the foul line, but just 1 of 7 from the field here of late. We're down to 10-25. Catch and shoot for Ryan, in and out.
I'd like to see them get the ball to Franklin. It seems like he can put the ball on the floor and swing pass and get past Nate Laszewski.
Smith gets it back. Halfway through this second half. Step back.
Bob, as good as that looked, I really thought that Smith had him and he just could have kept going to the basket. He didn't have to hit him with the hezzy. He just could have gone right to the basket for a finish.
Hammond, left hand to the hole.
Good move by Hammond, realizing that he had Smith on his right side for a lefty to be able to get downhill. No resistance by Smith.
Southpaw Hammond now in double figures with 10. First Notre Dame field goal since Lubin left the game with that fourth foul.
Absolutely. You saw that last play by Franklin. He should realize you cannot dislodge the defender's hand being called for that offensive foul. And you see, watch the post up. You cannot slap that off. I mean, you know that you can't do that. Josh Pastner's got to be irate with him because he comes out with that foul. And then that's one of the things that you cannot afford to have that kind of foul on that type of play.
Bryant has some daylight and lays it in. Terry was backpedaling, anticipating a whistle. And it never came.
And if you're Lance Terry, you got to hold strong there. Cormac Ryan did a good job. He dislodged him, understood there was no whistle, and then he just took advantage of being able to get that open opportunity to finish the layup.
Tied at 54. Laszewski one down, no whistle. Shot clock at 7. Sturdivant goes one-on-one. Got the man in the air and missed the shot. Well, when you got the defender in a helpless position like that, go right into him.
You definitely have to, and that's one of the things I think they do a better job in the NBA. But if you get him off, like you said, you can draw that contact, and if you don't make it, you get the free throws.
Laszewski nails a 3.
And again, Laszewski is one of those guys that will post you up, but if you give him an opportunity to set his feet, is deadly outside the three-point line. That's what he would prefer to do.
7-0 Notre Dame run. 8:10 remaining. Kelly. Air ball.
I feel like the guards from Georgia Tech are settling because you have Laszewski out there as a big, and you see a wide open Pimpin right there. Again, this is where Notre Dame is at their best. Knocking down 2 consecutive threes. Josh Pastner has to be upset with his team.
10 consecutive Notre Dame points to go up by 6. And Goodwin's up to 14, his 3rd 3 tonight. Timeout Jacket point. Our Coyote Tractor turning point. A 10-0 Notre Dame run.
And Bob, you and I talked about as this game is seesaw back and forth, which team would go on that biggest run. And as of late, Notre Dame doing a good job of being able to string some really good baskets. They've done a good job of being able to probe that defense with Georgia Tech, get some wide open shots. And this is one of the things that you know about this Notre Dame team, is that they're one of the tops in the league in three-point shooting. Georgia Tech up until now had done a good job, but as of late, poor shot selection by the Yellow Jackets has led to early offense by Notre Dame.
What's the antidote for Georgia Tech?
Well, I think that, again, they need to spread them out and get downhill. There have been a lot of opportunities for their guards to turn the corner. Feel like they settle and they're going east to west rather than attacking the rim.
Smith. On the beauty. What a great play call by Josh Pastner.
That's a little bit more going towards the rim, and that's not east to west. But I feel like Georgia Tech can get that when they want.
This foul on Devo Coleman brings us to a timeout. Georgia Tech 7 of 17 in the second half for 41%. Notre Dame up to 47 as well. They're 8 of 17. Notre Dame has made tonight 8 threes, same number as the Jackets. And free throws right now for Nate Laszewski. Speaking of Boston College, Nate had his career high 29 on 7 threes against BC back on the 21st of January. Pumps this one home.
Well, we talked about him and the fact that how he's a mismatch. Most bigs don't want to go out and guard him when he can shoot the 3. He's shown that he can put the ball on the floor. And then they will give him the ball, especially when he has a smaller guard on him in the low post.
Second shot good. Smith. Avon scored 8 first half points, none yet in the second. Around it comes to Terry. We've talked about the fact, Brian, that Georgia Tech has lost 9 consecutive games. Do you have a sensation as Franklin kind of gets trapped underneath? 7 on the shot clock, more, nowhere to go. Here's Coleman. Can he get it off in time? Yes, and he hits it.
what looked like they were headed for an empty possession, and I was going to lead to that time and time again, especially in the second half, they have those empty possessions. Coleman was able to come up and knock down that shot. But that's where it is that they don't have a guy that can go get them a bucket when they really need it. That's why I'm always talking. The more they can play in transition without having to set up there against the setup defense, they can take advantage of the athletes and their quickness.
62-58. Terry comes around, keeps driving to the hole, reverse, lands it good. Wow. 17 for Lance Terry.
And we've seen 2 back-to-back possessions with Georgia Tech when they've been to come up and make spectacular shots. And it seemed that Notre Dame was going to open up this lead. We got it back to a close game again.
62-60. Hammond spins it out. Here's Goodwin. Out of Ryan. Ryan to the basket. Lots of contact. And the foul call.
See that last possession. I want to say that Debo Coleman is probably in the restricted area. You see Cormac Ryan over there. Yeah, he's definitely in that restricted area.
Second foul on Debo.
You see it late there, not settled. You almost, if you're Josh Bass, you almost wanted to let him go because I think Davon Smith may have come up with that block after.
Right. The point I was trying to make, I wanted to get your opinion about it, and it could be any team, not just Georgia Tech, but you're in a 9-game skid. You get to the second half, you're in a close game. Is there a feeling that of individual play, like I'm going to do it, I'm going to bring us home, not with the team in mind, of course, but you just try to, rather than run that offense and do the things that got you there.
Well, and then you look at this team, that's probably where the absence of veteran leadership, because again, you've got guys that want to take the gain on themselves, and I don't think it's a matter of selfishness.
Right.
It's trying to be accountable. We talked with Josh Passon, and he talked about how the energy was so high in light of them losing 9, and you think you have guys that want to step up, but sometimes you have to stay within the system and take the opportunities rather than trying to go outside of what the team is trying to do.
Yeah, no reflection on anything but a team spirit, but it's just like, you know, maybe tonight's my night and to get us over the hump for my teammates.
And normally this is where good point guard play comes in, because the point guard is basically trying to put people in their right position, and when the team drifts outside of it, that's the guy that puts guys together in the huddle and say, hey, let's go to this play, let's go to that play. Interesting, again, as you've seen, 64-60. How is Georgia Tech going to be able to take advantage? Notre Dame, again, we have not seen Lubin out there. When he comes back in the game, can they go back and exploit those mismatches?
And I'm sure Mike Bray feels like he's playing with some house money, leaving Lubin on the bench with the 4 fouls and a 4-point lead. Smith, little hesitation move. Franklin scores it.
I love that action, because the last time you saw them come around in that little pick and roll, they got a lob for Franklin. That last time, got the mismatch, and you got Franklin with a guard right there in the low post, and he had him right there under the basket.
Georgia Tech, it's his last 4 shots. Ryan gives it up. 15 to shoot. Hammond on the drive. Nothing doing. Good coverage inside by Coleman. Kick it out. Hammond fires. Rebound. Georgia Tech and more.
Solid defensive possession by Georgia Tech. I'd go back to that same page. You see the spin.
Franklin. That would have tied the game.
And if I'm Franklin, I take one more dribble to try to dislodge and get closer to the basket. You're in no rush, because you've shown that you can shoot over Laszewski.
Goodwin out of the corner. Laszewski. Well, a lot of contact, no whistle. Smith jets to the other end. Moore, he turns it over.
That was a rough place to put Moore in. If you're Davon Smith, he wasn't ready for that ball.
Ryan, glass, no. Tech the other way, running with Coleman. Smith.
It's a shot that I feel like Smith can take inside that lane. He can elevate.
He's not looking at the basket.
He's not looking. He can elevate over them and shoot right over them.
And Josh Pastner wants to take a timeout here. 3 minutes and 48 seconds remaining. Notre Dame and Georgia Tech one more time to the wire in Atlanta. Notre Dame is that young man, Dane Goodwin. Probably no one ever will eclipse that mark that he will eventually set. Time for tonight's Z-Max Max performance.
I mean, look at his numbers: 14 points, 4 for 8 field goals, and 3 for 5 of them. And Notre Dame's had balanced scoring. I felt in the second half when they hit that lull, it was Dane Goodwin that basically came out and gave them some big buckets. This one where he had a chance to actually, arrange his hairstyle, knock that down, and he has shown, especially in the second half, Bob, that have given Notre Dame a huge lift offensively.
Dane Goodwin was an all-conference performer last year when he averaged close to 14 a game. And back in the big man, Van Allen Lubin, who's been so effective tonight, but has been saddled with foul difficulty in each half. He has not played since the 11:39 mark of the second half, and the Irish were down by 2. He comes back in, they're up by 2. 3 on the shot clock. Coleman lets it fly. And a foul on Notre Dame.
Mike Gray, you have to be beside yourself. You play very good defense. And then on the bailout for Debo Coleman, you fouled him on that 3. Again, watch the handoff right there between Terry, and you see Wirtz a little late and gets him right there on the edge of the elbow.
And 3 big free throws for number 3, Debo Coleman. He's a 66%er at the line this year. This is his first visit. 3:33 left. First one good. Point number 9. Notre Dame's lead is 1. Two down, 1 to go. Laszewski in for Wirtz.
I hope you didn't have dinner plans. We may be here for a while.
I know. I have dinner plans wherever you have an open tab.
I got you. Bob the jeweler, man. I got you.
He hits all 3. Georgia Tech leads 65-64.
Interesting to see with Georgia Tech's defense if they continue to switch. If I'm Mike Gray, I try to get the ball to my man Lubin. He's proven every time that he's able to get a guard down low, he's been able to punish him.
Lubin, post-up position, but Tech covers it well. Back up top to Ryan, 10 to shoot. Ryan gets it on. Follow no. Tech rebound. Georgia Tech on a 9-2 run. Speaking of post-up, Franklin spins, gets fouled, and sticks it in.
And that's what you wanted to see for Franklin. Go immediately. I thought that many times before when he gets that ball, he's sitting around, he's taking too long. That last time you saw the feed, and look how deep he has, Laszewski. Got him down there, no man, and turns quickly on, absorbs the contact for the and one. Again, great recognition, has him sealed, and powers the ball up. Gives Georgia Tech an opportunity to extend this lead to 4.
Franklin has 15 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, and completes the old-fashioned three-point play. Now Georgia Tech leads it by 4. Hammond, Laszewski, the fake, the reverse for 2.
Nice rebound by Laszewski. Georgia Tech dodged a bullet. They passed under the screen and allowed Hammond to get a wide open shot, but even in that, no one puts a body on Nate Laszewski.
68-66 Georgia Tech, 2:28 left. Tech trying to bust this 9-game losing streak here at home. Terry looking around. Sturdivant. Now it's going to be Smith with 2 on the shot clock. Smith puts it up. Rebound of the Irish.
Good defense by Notre Dame. Now they got a chance right now. Don't need a 3. Take your time, run your offense.
Goodwin fires. Short. Loose ball. Ryan's got it underneath. He's smothered and fouled. This one on Coleman.
Bob, those are the plays we were talking to Josh Pastner about in the locker room. You get a good stop right there, and you see a good challenge right there by Terry. Georgia Tech has to come up, and then you lose that rebound, and then you've got Cormac Ryan, the right place at the right time, an opportunity to tie this ball game with a little under 2 minutes to go.
Ryan with 11, a perfect 4 for 4 at the line. Notre Dame has missed only one foul shot all night, 12 out of 13.
That one barely touched the net.
68-67. Looking for point number 13, perfect. 68 all with a minute 56.
Georgia Tech has run an action where they'll come off with the pick to be able to get the ball inside. I think that you give Franklin an opportunity to go, or you can get maybe a Davon Smith to get downhill.
Terry. Rebound belongs to Lubin.
And that last shot by Terry, you can get that anytime. Because, again, when you saw how he went, there were too many guys. It was too packed. Georgia Tech has shown they do better when they're spreading them out. Now Notre Dame has an opportunity. I'm still looking for that mismatch down low if I can get it.
They're fronting Lubin with Smith. He comes around, gets it, drives in. Small, that's a block. Mike Bray thought it was a goaltend. No call. Georgia Tech the other way. Smith gives, and the dunk is missed by Terry.
And if I'm Lance Terry, you just make the shot. You don't go for the highlight spot right there. Missed opportunity. You see Cormac Ryan going to the basket.
But shot it too strong off the glass. Laszewski gets back, trying to cut Smith off. And the shot is short. It's a high wire act down the stretch. 68 all, and Mike Bray says, let's talk it over.
Again, that last play, Mike Bray was by. Right there you see Lubin down, and then you see Franklin come. I don't know, partner. It seemed like he got that up there, and you watch again.
I don't think it hit the glass.
It did not. He got it on the way up.
In the cylinder for sure.
And then here's on the other play, you see Lance Terry going what was, I love the athleticism, but at this gut, you really needed a basket. Georgia Tech had 2 missed opportunities to go up. The dunk attempt by Terry, and then the fast break where you saw Davon Smith going one-on-one against Nate Laszewski.
You know, we could have just met at about 8:45 Eastern time and just put a tie score on. It doesn't matter. 2-2, 68-68, doesn't matter.
And just let them play a minute.
Play a minute and we all go home. I mean, it's uncanny how these games come down to this last minute, anybody's ball game.
Well, if I can go into the huddle for Notre Dame, if I'm Mike Bray, what I do is I run some type of action knowing that Georgia Tech is going to switch. I still go inside if I can. The guy that's shown me that that can go get a basket is Cormac Ryan. If they shift out on him, let him get downhill and try to penetrate. Georgia Tech, you got to stay solid. If you've got a small on a big, you front him with the weak side help. Everybody goes to rebound.
Josh Pastner with a final word for his troops. And now the officials get the guys out on the floor. 24 seconds on the Notre Dame shot clock and 41.8 left in the game.
Georgia Tech has switched on this man-to-man. Everything they have switched. You cannot afford to let anyone go unguarded because Notre Dame has shown, again, they're top 3 as far as three-point shooting teams in the conference.
Hammond on the handoff. Laszewski barrels in. Lots of contact. Shoots and misses. Rebound Tech. Shot clock's off.
If you're Georgia Tech, you want to make sure that you go under 10 seconds. Again, you don't want to be stagnant with the ball. I'd run some kind of pin down action and try to get downhill. You see right now, Davon Smith one-on-one. If you're Nate Laszewski, you push him left.
And they get the foul to stop it at 6.8. That's the 4th on Laszewski. And that is the 5th team foul on Notre Dame.
If you're Georgia Tech, you do not. This last play has to be going to the basket. You're going to get downhill or you want to try to get some type of contact. You do not want a Hail Mary with almost 7 seconds left to go in this game.
Notre Dame has another foul to give, and they take it here, and that slices another second and a half off the clock. We're down to 5.3.
If I'm Josh Pastner, I have Davon Smith come and get this basketball to try to get downhill.
Georgia Tech with the ball, 5.3 remaining. Notre Dame has one timeout left. Georgia Tech without any more timeouts remaining.
And what set this up is watch the defense by Debo Coleman. You see Laszewski try to get some clearance. Coleman stays solid, and then he comes out and secures that rebound.
And this is a spot, as you look at the Notre Dame huddle, first game goes overtime. This one is 5 seconds away from overtime. But if you're Josh Pastner and Georgia Tech, these are the moments that you've been waiting for. We've got our opportunity to win.
Absolutely.
Let's take advantage.
And the ball is on the opposite side of the bench. And if I'm Josh Pastner, I run something to allow a Davon Smith to get it and get downhill with his right hand and use that athleticism to get right to the basket. We do not want a three. We do not want a contested jump shot. If I'm Notre Dame, I force them to come to the left side of the field to get to their weak hand, because if you're going downhill with your left, you're not as aggressive.
The coaching staffs have had their say. Now it's up to the 10 men on the floor. 5.3 left. Lance Terry is the trigger man. Dane Goodwin on the ball for Notre Dame. Tie game at 68. Here we go. The bounce entry to Sturdivant. Kyle driving. Kyle from the baseline. Tip. Good! And Georgia Tech wins. I think it beat the buzzer. They're going to check it. But I think that's going to count.